Happy Saturday. How are you doing? You're very welcome to my life. I hope you're having a lovely day. We have a heat stroke in the UK. And today I felt like having a lie in, hence the late start to the live. Do let me know where you're joining from. And let's have a short, sweet discussion. Okay, I'm just going to share this and see if anyone is available to join us from my other social media sites. My name is Asa. I do a video every weekend. It can be pre-recorded or it can be a live one like this one. Mindset, healing, empowerment related, just to get us chatting, on everyday stuff that we can learn and grow from. So yeah, you're welcome. Sharing done, and we are ready to start. Today we are talking about hunger. Hunger for life. Hungry, we automatically imagine food. Okay, you want to feed yourself. You want to stop the aching, the inkling for food. But today we are going to use that as a metaphor in reference to hunger for life, hunger for growth, hunger for healing, hunger for connection. Okay, those topics: connections, healing, growth, and overall self-development. Are we as hungry for those areas of our life as we are for food, for drink, for new clothes and new things? All of those beautiful things that we go for, reach for, yearn for when they are physical in our lives. Are we hungry for better health, for mental health? So how do we deal with that hunger issue? Sorry, I've got a fan blowing hair into my face. Okay. Hunger is about feeding, satisfaction, yearning, that burning desire inside of you that tells you that something is lacking, that you're empty somewhere, that you need some filling. And generally, and this is the whole point of this conversation, generally, once you're full, have you ever had that meal that you will pay anything for? That you eat and eat and eat and eat, and then suddenly you're so full that you feel like putting it in the bin. Like the satisfaction is gone. And I've always, hello Chloe, hello Finley, you're all welcome. I always talk about this, the law of marginal utility. I've always talked about this law, and I learned this in economics. Like when you want something so badly, when you're really hungry for something, say like on a really hot day, you're really thirsty, you want ice cream, you want a nice cold drink, your desire for that one ice cream is so high that you're willing to pay something for it. Okay. And when you get it, the first bite, the first sip of that drink gives you so much marginal utility. The value of it is so high because of that thirst, that hunger, that need that you have for that thing, that your satisfaction from the first drink and the first bite and the first lick is so high, and the more you consume that thing, the less your satisfaction, because you're filling up. You're getting satisfied and saturated by the more of it in your life, to the point where at some point you've had enough. You've had enough and you just can't even look at that ice cream anymore. And I think a lot of the things in our lives treat us that way. Even misery. Sometimes misery it saturates us. It kills your dream and desire for better. Sometimes we come from those economies and families that we get so miserable, we get so comfortable around our circumstances, we get so saturated by our thoughts and our feelings and belief in certain things that we fail to start seeing other possibilities, other opportunities. We start seeing ourselves as limited to certain circumstances. We stop feeling hungry for bigger and better than where we find ourselves in those circumstances. And that's why we are talking about hunger today, because the good news is that you can ignite that hunger in yourself. We can't wait for it to be natural. We can't wait for it to just fall on us. When you are hungry, you will reach higher. That is a fact. The fact that works for hunger for food, it also works for hunger for knowledge. If you want to know about a topic, if you really want, and even gossip, if you want to know about somebody, you're going to ask somebody about that person. You're going to read a paper about that person. Hello, Bob. You're welcome to my life. Hello, Super Nathan. You're welcome. If you want to know about things, your curiosity, you know how we say curiosity kills the cat, because the cat can no longer go to sleep when it's curious. I have to know. I have to know about this topic. I have to know about this new product. I have to know about this new skill. And it keeps you going and going and going and going until you satisfy that curiosity before you can sleep. Okay, so hunger is about planting those seeds of curiosity in your mind, in your life, in your soul, so that they can drive your action, so that they can elevate your name. Hello, Jacob. J. Okay, I am Aso, and I make mindset healing and empowerment videos on this topic. I just look this channel, I look for topics that we can talk about and just ask ourselves every week, what are you doing in this area of your life? How are you feeling in this aspect that we're talking about today? How high is your hunger? And sometimes we have more hunger for other areas of your life than other areas of your life. Good morning, Blessing, darling. How are you, sweetheart? Thanks for joining us. And please, if you can share, do share. I'm trying to also be as active on this platform as I am on Facebook. Please, if you're here and you're not on my Facebook page, find Asokone and join me, and I'll be very grateful. Okay, are you more curious, more invested, more hungry in some areas of your life than others? And that is for you now to go and create that balance. Do you know about your health imbalance? Do you know about the common how much carbohydrates you take, how much protein you take, how much exercise you do, how much sugar you take, how much hydration? Knowledge is power. And if you're not hungry for that knowledge in specific areas of your life, those areas are going to create an imbalance in your life that will eventually affect the other areas that you are interested in. So what are you hungry for? And you've also, you know how when you're in a new relationship, hunger is about investing in that person, being curious about that person, asking about them, their day, their need, what do you like? Shall I cook for you? Shall I take you places? Shall I do this for you? And that hunger and interest in that person keeps that relationship on cloud nine, right? But soon as you get intimate and close enough to that person, and stop being interested and curious and hungry to be with them, to lead them, to show up for them, that relationship starts to go downhill. And it's as easy as that. When you're hungry for something, for someone, for a role, when you're passionate about something, it shows, it glows, it flows in your life in a level that creates intensity and satisfaction both for you and those around you. And the good news is that you can light that fire within yourself to make the things that are important or that you're interested in grow in your life. It's very easy for us to be knocked down by the lack of money, the lack of motivation, the lack of knowledge on how else can I move forward. Don't worry about how, worry about why. Why is this forward important to you? What is at stake? What do I have to gain? What do I have to lose? And sometimes you can lean on the gain for it to drive you forward. But sometimes you can also lean on the loss, like what will I lose if I don't do everything that it takes for myself, for my family, for my company, for my future, my identity? What do I stand to lose if I don't keep taking the steps that I need take to take myself forward? Okay. And that is exactly more courage, more wisdom, more interest, more investment. Like a lot of the times we want to harvest when we have not invested in the value of hard work, in the value of research, in the value of those meaningful connections that we want to know other people, give to them, show up for them differently. Okay, we are going to look at the hunger mentality. What does that even mean? Hungry people don't wait. You don't wait for the food to come. Like when you're really hungry, unless you're in prison, unless you're sick and unable to move, when you're hungry, even if it's your gari, you go and get it. Even if it's like the cheapest food, you need food, you have to get food. When you're thirsty, you have to get water. So hungry people don't just sit there and say, oh, my mom didn't bring the food. Even babies, they'll start crawling, they'll start putting fingers into their mouths, they'll start putting clothing into their mouths. Like a hungry baby will even feed on stones. So you have to feed when you're hungry. When you're spiritually hungry, you will find a church, you will find a Bible, you will find food, you will look for the things that will fill you up spiritually. And that goes for every area of your life. Okay. The second one is that comfort starves ambition. Comfort is so dangerous, and comfort is like that person who is saturated with food, who is thinking, well, I'm not hungry, so I don't have to be bothered. I can stay in bed. I have enough to eat for the next month. Sometimes our mentality is like that. Why should I do this? Well, because it may feed 5 more family members, because it may take you to the next level, even if you're on a good level. So you want to be asking yourself, if you had a threat to lose your home, if you have that threat of something that would go wrong with that comfortable situation that you are in, will you work harder? Will you invest more? Will you do more research? Is your comfort holding you back instead of acting as a stepping stone to your next story, your next level in your life? Okay. Then hunger is a mindset, not a condition. Sometimes you feel like, this person is too much. This hustle is too much. I beg, take a rest. Like sometimes we even criticize some people who are hungry for more, who are obsessive in their search for higher heights in their lives. But it's a mindset, and they say consistency like creates more impact in your life. Winning is not the end. Losing is not the end. But if you want more, it's consistency. You eat in the morning, you're hungry in the afternoon. You eat in the evening, you're hungry in the morning. And that can be hunger for knowledge, hunger for connection, hunger for business. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Because sometimes we get bored and we get stuck when we just feel like, what's next? What's the next chapter for me? If you don't know what next step to take, if you don't know what next thing to do, you may be feeling really stuck in your life. Like, we are human beings, we are meant to be like active, having fun creatively, going for our hobbies, going to meet our friends, going for work, going for cultural events. Like, we are constantly doing one thing after the other. And if you feel like you have nothing in your life to be getting up and getting out the house for, then that is where you're edging towards hopelessness, because that consistency is there. That hunger for life and for service and for purpose is not there. So think about the wolf mentality. There's a saying that the hungry wolf is more dangerous and more powerful than the big, gigantic wolf. If you're a wolf and you're big but you're not hungry, you're not going to go attacking people or prey or animals in your environment. But the wolf that is hungry, angry, however small the size of it, they are coming for you. They are coming for their aim. They are coming for their enemy. They are coming for whoever threatens its safety. And that's somehow what we need to get our goals. Clarify how hungry you are for that goal, how badly you want it in your life, and you're going to go for it. When we make excuses about how meaningful our relationships are, like, can you picture someone coming for your baby in your arms, how you're going to react? That's how you need to react for everything that is important in your life. Like that power that can only come from inside something that you've planted in you. That's how you have to go through life. And that's what the wolf mentality is. Okay, hunger versus fear. Hunger kills fear. Like, can you imagine if you're hungry and there's even a spider on something that will feed that hunger, and there's even criticism and judgment on something that will feed that anger, you're going to walk in that room to get food, even if you know that somebody you're afraid of is in that room. The things that we avoid when we are comfortable, we see as minimal when we are hungry for something, hungry enough to ignore judgment, ignore anything, and walk into an arena where you think you're going to feed that hunger that is in your soul. Okay. And finally, you have to build that appetite. And they say appetite comes from your work ethic when it comes to this kind of hunger. That ability to keep going even when you're scared, to keep going even when you're weak, to keep going even when you're poor, knowing that if I don't invest today, if I don't plant my last penny, I may not have anything to harvest tomorrow. That's the hunger mentality that you need to plant. Now we're going to look at a few concepts around hunger. The first one is that hunger is an internal flame. It's not external. It doesn't matter if everyone around you is doing well, but you don't feel it in here. You don't feel that drive and that desire. You're not going to want to push yourself through thin and thick to get where you need to go. Okay. The second one is starvation reflex. The less you have, the harder you chase. And the more you have, if you're full already psychologically, if you think you know it all, you're not going to go asking for more. You're not going to ask for answers. You're not going to be curious to learn more. And sometimes we are too good for our own good. You know, when you see people going miles around you, but you're too proud to go to them and say, wow, how did you do this? How did you achieve this thing? How can I learn from you? Okay, that's the mind of a hungry person. But if you feel saturated with knowledge, with pride, with whatever it is that fills you up, you're not going to be able to stoop low to learn, to read, to ask, to be curious around those who may be able to help you. So starvation reflex is about telling you that I'm always in the mood for more. There's always room for me to learn more, even if I already know something, even if I already have something, even if I can cook this recipe, I can ask people how they cook it. I can learn other ways of doing the same things that I already know. So when you often think that there is room for more in your life, that's the idea of a starvation reflex means I'm not full. I'm not everything. It's not my way or the highway. There's always another way, which means that you always have room to learn more, even about the things that you know you already know. Okay. And then the scarcity mentality is also having the idea that nothing can push you or nothing like scarcity is about knowing that I may not have everything, but I can have everything. Sometimes scarcity is about I don't have the skills, I don't have the money, I don't have the people. But that can drive you to work harder to bring those things in your life. If you don't have a fairy godfather to rely on, if you don't have a parent to rely on, if you know that it's me versus the world, you're going to work as hard as you possibly can because there's no one coming to rescue you. That's how you reframe your scarcity. Instead of sitting there thinking, I lack, I don't have, I am weak, you do the best for you because you know that nobody is coming to do the most for you. Okay. The other thing is adaptive hunger model. That hunger and appetite grow. The more you feed it, the more you grow. Say, for instance, you start a level 1 course and you complete it. You're going to want to do level 2 because it's now sparking your interest. You now see the potential. You start your cake baking at home and you see how it's going. You're enjoying it. You're going to start to look for potential to start baking and dropping at other shops, to start going and starting your bakery. When you do the first step of something, that is going to start to pack your interest to do the next step. Okay, so hunger is adaptive, growth is adaptive. Your goals grow different levels. They grow from stage to stage because they motivate you, they empower you. You grow in confidence, you grow in mindset, you grow in ability to achieve more. And that actually keeps you going and going and going. So the other thing is that competition intensifies hunger. Okay. When you look at people and see what is possible, what is achievable, you'll be like, wow, they are breaking boundaries of impossibilities. And now I know that I can also achieve those things or my things the way I want them. Just be careful what you're competing for because there's negative competition in our life. Sometimes we want to be like them. We want to bring them down. We want to be better than them. And that can derail you and take you away from like what aligns in your life. But if your competition is positive, wanting to be better than the versions of yourself from yesterday, wanting to be as good as this person who is doing good things, that competition can drive you on. And finally, there's a thing called the emptiness principle, which means that hunger grows in silence and solitude when you're alone, when you are doubted, when you are misunderstood, when your hunger is one that wants to bring you to a different identity. These circumstances can either make you to multiply or to die in your life. Like when people doubt you, you can either say, well, keep doubting me. Only time will teach you who I am. Okay, when people misunderstand you, you can either go fighting with them or stay in your corner and keep doing your thing. And soon enough, they will see the other side of you, the other version of you. So challenges can break or make you, and that's all that it means. But that comes from your hunger to rise above those challenges, above, against all the odds. So today's topic of feeling hungry, being hungry, comes from you clarifying what is important to you. Because sometimes we wake up and there's 200 things in our lives. Like, should I go shopping? Should I go to the party? Should I go to my hobbies? Should I go see my friends and enjoy life? Or should I follow those dreams that are maybe not popular, that are maybe difficult, that is like the planting season of today, but knowing that this is important in my life, and if I'm disciplined and persistent, I'm going to grow in those areas tomorrow. It starts by you clarifying, what is that for me? And am I hungry enough for it? Am I committed to having it? Do I clarify what it means to me? Lighting that fire inside is what makes it possible tomorrow, is what drives you to achieve it in the future. And most importantly and finally, make sure that comfort does not kill you. And the biggest comfort, especially for us as women, is marriage. Sometimes you get into a man's house and you think, okay, they have a business, they'll look after me. They promised they'll do this for me. I'm going to leave my job and go and move in with them. I'm going to leave my job and go and do as they say. Like, sometimes those relationships create comfort for us. You want to please them. You want to do what they say. That makes you walk away from every one of your dreams and desires. That makes you stop chasing your own higher heights, and actually bringing you to the best level of you is going to elevate that relationship if they are there to also see you grow. So don't get into those relationships that knock you down or make you comfortable and subsistent, instead of growing you and growing them and growing the family as a whole. Be hungry as an individual and as the person that moves those around you. And that's the whole rationale of today's reflection. Don't settle for too little. Don't let anyone tell you who you are. And don't stay in one place permanently. You're better than today, every day. You're better than yesterday, if only in knowledge, if only in lessons, if only in the dreams and the goals that you're setting for yourself. So have a lovely, lovely, blessed weekend, and be better every day than who you were yesterday. Remain blessed.